Hello, everyone, and welcome to another CineQuest video. We're going to be reviewing the new 2025 horror film by the Filippo brothers. I think that's how you pronounce it. Bring Her
I'm
Back.
not sure, man.
Bryce, you and I saw Talk to Me, and I enjoyed that movie a lot. I don't recall like your feelings on that, but I know
Oh, I
I
liked
I
it.
enjoyed it enough to where I was kind of anticipating the next movie by these two directors.
Oh yeah,
So when we saw the trailer to this Bring Her Back, we were pretty excited about it because it looked pretty sick.
yeah.
Um,
It looked like a straight necromancer movie, man. It was like I don't know what was going on. It was like bringing dead people back. I don't know, like just of course how they're known for their brutality, I guess, if you will, like their the gruesomeness of the scene. So I was pretty pumped for it. So
yeah, I was just under the impression that it was kind of just another possessor type of film, which
mm,
I was a little skeptical about, but it still looked really good. So I was like, maybe they're gonna do a possession film, right? Again, not really knowing completely certain what the movie was about going into it.
hmm
But I will. Uh, I'm happy to report that I liked it a lot.
yeah, as did I.
So this movie does star Sally Hawkins, which, if you don't know who Sally Hawkins is, she's come out in The Shape of Water, which is like Guillermo del Toro movie, and then she also has come out in Paddington. I've never seen any of the Paddington films, but
Hold on, man. Hold on. We gotta talk.
hello, hello, hello,
Say something.
hello.
I I don't know if it's on my end or your end, but it's like it was hard to explain like your voice. I can't hear you now at all, but it
Oh,
was
really? You
like
can't hear me? All right, so this movie stars Sally Hawkins. So if you're not familiar with Sally Hawkins, she came out in The Shape of Water, the Guillermo del Toro movie, and she's also the mom from Paddington. I've never seen any of the Paddington movies, but from the people that I've spoken to, they have mentioned that they were actually surprised at the brutality of the character that she plays in this compared to the mom in Paddington.
Oh, I thought you meant Paddington Bear. I was like, whoa, I need to watch these Paddington Bear movies.
Have you seen any of the Paddington movies?
No, I
No,
know our friend
Junior. Yeah, he
Junior
seems
Roel
to.
he was absolutely smitten with Paddington Bear movies,
Yeah,
but
he
I've
said.
never seen
I know
them.
he said best movie of the year one time, and I was like, just fucking blown away. Also stars
Yeah.
Billy Barrett and Jonah Ren Phillips, who plays Oliver, which is pretty crazy, and Sora Wong, who plays Piper. Those two characters uh, really surprised me. They're the person that played the kid that plays Oliver was like pretty intense, and it was kind of shocking to see the extent that they put this kid through, as well as the girl who plays Piper. She actually does have a uh, eyesight issue.
Yeah,
I forgot what it's called, but
she's
like apparently she's never
she's
acted
visually
before in her life.
impaired.
Yeah, she's never acted before apparently. As far as like a professional acting, that she went from like school plays to straight to this movie, and I think they did a fantastic
Did
job.
amazing in here,
Yeah.
so I don't know. Yeah.
Just pretty awesome performances all around. What about you, Bryce? What do you think about the performances in this movie?
Oh, acting's was great all around, man. Yeah, the mom, she not I guess the stepmother or whatever you want the adoptive
Mm.
mother, foster mother. Yeah, she did a great job, man. It's like just she got under my skin. She made me so she's
Yeah,
I don't know because I've been yeah, I don't even I'm pretty sure you've dealt with people like obviously not to this extreme, but like you've dealt with people like that in your life where it's like it's like they're so like cheery and have such a happy disposition, but then they're secretly they just hate you, and it's just like I don't know. She just
yeah.
played that kind of person really well.
She really played like a very superficial, hippie-ish type of woman, and then like the underlining tone was so intense. Um, like her like evilness was
Mm.
still sitting there. You could see that underneath like all that, and you can just feel it through the screen, even though necessarily she wasn't showing it at first, and then eventually when it gets revealed, how almost her evil intentions or whatever, like it's not surprising, but you're just kind of like relieved that you can just see it as opposed to just her hiding it the whole
Mhm.
time.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah, yeah.
as far as the story is concerned, I enjoyed it as well. I don't want to get too much into it because it's as far as you're gonna watch it in like I guess the progression of it. I don't want to reveal too much, but I personally enjoyed the story a lot. It has to deal with grief and trauma and all that kind of stuff. And like there's been a lot of movies recently that do have to deal with grief and loss, um, personal grief,
Recently,
personal
like
loss.
which
Yeah.
ones? Like, what do you think?
What's that?
Recently, like which ones?
Well, just think of a lot of the horror movies that we've seen.
What? Well, I know, but I was actually thinking to me, I was kind of like, it was good to see A24 getting back into the family trauma genre that
Yeah,
started
yeah,
them and made them
yeah.
so
But
because
that's
they've started branching out to different
yeah, yeah,
things and
yeah.
like
Hmm.
this had that movie or this had that uh I mean, I don't like direct comparison to Hereditary, but like it has that like like grief, loss, like that family, like ooh, kind of like ooh, you know what I mean? That awkwardness of like the familial ties, you know what I mean, so
Hmm.
to speak, like just that trauma that comes with it. So it was cool to see them get back into that. So
I think
we'll see if they
the
continue.
one gripe I did have is that like they kind of introduced a lot of that into the story. But
Yeah,
unfortunately, I feel like some of it didn't get fleshed out entirely. But to be fair, I think it kind of, though it introduced a lot of these elements, the way the story plays out doesn't always like lead to a resolution.
yeah,
Realistically speaking. So I kind of like that because it doesn't give me that sense of closure, so to speak,
hmm,
when it's
yeah,
revealed that someone has trauma that they're dealing with. Because I mean, something happens and things happen in the movie, and you're just like, if I didn't get that fulfillment, I don't know, like it makes it uncomfortable for me as a viewer. But personally speaking, I'm the person who kind of likes that uncomfortableness when I'm watching a movie.
hmm,
That's why I felt like this movie gave me that whole Hereditary vibe because Hereditary made me very
yeah,
uncomfortable, and
yeah,
so did this movie, and that's why really, I say I like this movie. I actually love this movie. Right now, this is kind of standing at one of those. This is probably like best of the year so far for me, like as
yeah,
far as like the films that I've seen. Again, we spoke in our Sinners review that there hasn't been much competition since this year as far as like
no,
really great movies, but right now it's like,
further down the line,
yeah, hopefully we'll get more
there's some stuff
the
looking
rest of the
coming
year,
out. Looks pretty interesting.
Yeah, yeah, for
I know I'm
sure.
personally excited for Together. That one looks
Hmm.
pretty crazy. Of course, Toxic Avenger. Now I don't know
Yeah,
where you
yeah.
want to put that on like horror. It's more of a
Oh,
horror
I
comedy, but
mean, to me, if it's just as enjoyable as as the original, then it's probably would be on my top 10 somewhere,
yeah, yeah,
But going back to this movie, like the effects were really great. The gore, it seems a lot of like practical effects. I was surprised they went like as far as they did on some of these things, especially with children involved. You know me when it comes to horror and children, like I don't like them to play it safe because they're still human beings and things happen in real life when it comes to kids, and you want to see a story play out how it could. I mean, again, this is kind of fantastical a little bit, because I mean, obviously the subject matter, but Oliver, the kid who plays Oliver, really like put in the went to extremes when it came to them using him as a person who's kind
hmm,
of like a vessel, and just
yeah,
that, not even like anything that has any sort of emotional attachment. It's just a vessel, and unfortunately, the vessel gets abused and tormented, and he does such a great job doing that. So I'm
yeah,
props to that. Um, let me see. Again, don't I want to get too much into this movie, but like I just wanted to like just give a bit of an opinion about this movie and how much I really really love this movie. Again, not too much into it. Overall, like I said, right now this is like best movie of the year for me. Best horror movie on top of that. And I think, like you said, A24 went back to that whole getting back into those like really dark, disturbing grief, loss, trauma centered stories that really kind of delve into like human emotion and like really make people uncomfortable. And that's
Yeah,
what I like to see from an
yeah.
A24 horror movie.
Well, yeah, of course. That's what their bread and butter was. That's
Initially,
what they
yeah,
say they
yeah.
cut their teeth on. Yeah,
Yeah. And I mean, I know Neon kind of like the kind of has like a competition for them, you know, too, specifically for certain movies that they've come out with. But
oh, true. Yeah.
yeah. So overall, Bryce, what do you think of Bring Her Back?
Uh, Probably would say my favorite movie of the year so far as well. I'm actually surprised to hear you say that because I know how much you love Sinners.
Yeah, I did, but that's the whole thing about that I'm saying is that like there's not much competition. But the thing is, this type of movie is more my
Yeah.
like speed,
Oh
you
yeah.
know, like
Yeah.
that's why her like I loved Hereditary so much because I hadn't seen a movie like that in a while, and like even The Witch kind of centers around that as well. Like
Yeah.
that those type of like somewhat slow burn, not so there's no jump scares really, but it just feeds on the tension, and you kind of just like have to just take it, if you will. There's not
Yeah.
like there aren't any beats necessarily that a rhythm that I can grab onto, and it kind of makes me feel comfortable. Like things are so like off kilter and dissonant in these types of movies that I don't know what to expect, and that's
Yeah.
why I like them so much.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I took my mom to see it actually. It's funny.
What did
And my
she think of
mom said
that?
that, yeah, it's like she's like, oh, she thought it was like she was disturbed by it. It was funny. She was like, yeah, I kept thinking about that movie, and I was like, yeah, no, it's great.
That's
I
that's
love it. That's why I
uh
love these type of movies.
that's a
And I've heard a
characteristic of
lot
a
of
really good movie.
similar.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of similar things from people that that it stayed with them afterwards, and that it maybe and if they didn't see it in the theater, maybe they saw it streaming or so however they viewed it. Like they couldn't. They kind of had to watch like it in pieces because there are
Hmm.
some pretty traumatizing scenes, I guess, especially when, like you said, with the kids, the vessel type scenario. So it's got it's bleak. It's a bleak movie,
Yeah, it
but that's what I
was.
like. So it's keep them up, keep them coming, guys. And supposedly, I don't know if it's true, but I've heard stories that there's going to be a Talk to Me Too.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
gonna be some
Hmm.
type of sequel involved with that, and I hope they do something with this because and now there's some speculation or maybe they've kind of hinted at that this is like in the same universe sort of, and I could see that. You know what I mean? I
Hmm.
could definitely see them try to like tie those things together, but I want to know more about these like rituals and stuff that they do in the movie because that was all seemed pretty cool. I like the whole VHS element of
Yeah.
like she
Hmm.
found like a VHS tape explaining how it's done and like oh that's kind of cool.
And you know, she was when she's watching it, she's trying to resort back to like figuring out what like next step she has to take. So
Yeah,
she's
yeah,
like
yeah. She has
watching
to go.
it,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
we're watching it too. And you know what I one thing I didn't mention was that I like the not the overt exposition in this movie because like we as an audience kind of have to gather and infer a lot of things that are happening. Like she's watching the tape. Now we can gather that she's doing some kind of ritual and that she's kind of like seeing like what the ritual is. The the thing is that we didn't get necessarily is like the origins of that ritual or like how it invokes either some kind of like demonic presence or like maybe there's some kind of like folkloric kind of a background to it to where like it's for the area. You know what I mean? Like hereditary in a sense.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, but I also like the fact that I didn't just overdo it with that kind of explanation to the audience because it respected the audience enough to believe that they could gather and all that information just by watching the movie and not by someone just blatantly explaining the shit to you.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
and
yeah.
again, another thing that I appreciated. Well, anything else to say about Bring Her Back? Again, I just really like this movie, and I just wanted to share my opinions and thoughts about it. And mind you, we saw it a couple weeks ago, and we've tried to record
Yeah.
this many times. And I was kind of thinking to myself, I go, maybe there's like some kind of entity or energy that's just not wanting us to get it because we tried to schedule it numerous times, but I got sick, and then Again, I was more sick, and then I just every time we tried to schedule, we just couldn't do it. So
Yeah,
now,
and in case you can't tell from my voice, I know
yeah,
I'm
now
sick
now
as
he's
well,
sick
so
too. Yeah,
it's spreading, it's
yeah.
spreading.
The energy, the evilness.
It's just like in the ring, it's all spreading. You know?
Yeah. So right now we just found the time, and we're just trying to get it out there, and we almost had issues right now with our technical
Yeah,
difficulties again.
that's true, man. That's
I was
true.
like, there's sometimes there's some reviews. I'm like, there's got to be something attached to these reviews for some reason. Like maybe something out there doesn't want us to do it. It's nice speculation, you know. It makes things a little bit
Yeah,
more dramatic. But anyways,
yeah.
Bring Her Back was awesome. Definitely check it out in theaters if it's still in theaters up until this point. I think it is. Uh,
I think it is, yeah.
Once it's on digital, if you haven't seen it, like definitely check it out. Make sure you set the mood. You know, turn off the lights, get some snacks. Uh,
Yeah.
Make sure you have a nice sound system going because you can hear a lot of the little shit
Yes,
going on
yes.
with these
Yeah, that was another
kids.
aspect of the movies that really adds enhances it, the sound design, yeah.
Yeah, just one quick scenario that I did want to discuss. There was a scene where like the foster mom is standing over the girl, and you kind of see a lot of things that she's doing like while they're asleep and stuff. And that moment where she like just she
Yep.
hits the person, and then I was just that's the part that jumped me back. I was like, Jesus, because I honestly wasn't
Yeah.
expecting it. It came out of nowhere, and I was just like, whoa, my god, like, and
Yeah.
even though it's a simple thing that she does, it still seems like very brutal. You know what I mean? I don't
Oh,
know.
big time, man.
I don't know. That's just
Yeah,
me
that
though.
was a scene. That was definitely in the theater. It was like maybe I had my mom and I were up front. And there might have been like four other people. It was like all in the middle rows. Like you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it was just like in the middle of the theater. Like that was it. And so I was really surprised I didn't get more people in there. Now we did kind of go like on the what opening day like or for us anyways like which was probably Thursday I think. And so it was a weekday, but yeah, that scene right there, it was definitely everyone was looking like, "Oh shit!"
That was
Like,
my exact response too. Like, I just
yeah.
remember like jumping back
Well,
in my
again, it's
chair and
like
going,
that
"Oh
that
shit,
sound
man!"
design too in the movie. It's
Yeah,
like you really heard that like that
yeah,
thud, like
yeah.
oh,
And
that's
I
like
was
damn,
like, I had to like grab my face, like, "Oh,
yeah,
did
oh
I get hit?"
shit,
Yeah. Anyways, appreciate you watching. Again, check out Bring Her Back in theaters. Support these directors; they are doing great work, and can't wait to see what they come out with next. So, uh, Ray, Bryce, joining me here,
Bryce.
and
Yeah.
we'll see you on the next review, whenever that's gonna be. So.